Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Natasha Martinez, and this is The Daily Show, where we give you all the latest news in the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us today, the host of Collider Jedi Council, Kristian Harloff.
What's going on, guys? It's championship week here in the Schmodown. Clark Wolf tomorrow going for that belt against Dangerous Dan Murrell. Make sure you check that out. There it is, right off the bat.
Hooah.
Boom. The Wolf going up against a big week here. Who do we got joining us?
Also joining us, the host of Collider Heroes, we've got Jon Schnepp.
Hey, what's up? We got a new Collider Heroes that just came up yesterday, so definitely check it out. We talk a lot about stuff that involves superheroes.
And the host of the Top 10 show here on Collider, we've got John Rocha.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? I'm excited to be here. Coming to you live for the Meadowlands here in New Jersey.
Rocha, what was that weird pause about?
Forgot he was on the show. He was
You
texting.
scared me. I thought I said your name wrong.
Yeah, I was worried about John's voice.
I was telling somebody that Predator was a B movie.
What's really a B movie? You know, Heaven's Gate cost $75 million.
Carl Weathers was in it. It must have been a B movie.
That's
Action
right.
Jackson. Never seen it.
Yeah, that's a damn B
Black
movie. Give me a
Asian
break
film.
with that stuff. No, because I heard Schnepp's voice. It's
Natasha, what's next?
Okay.
My voice just got a little dark for a minute, Rocha. Where are the drugs? Where are they?
Boys,
Where's
settle
the Joker?
down.
Swear
Settle
to me.
down. Okay, our first story is Captain Marvel is zeroing in on a director. According to THR, Marvel's adaptation of their first female-led superhero film is down to 3 directors: Niki Caro, who directed Whale Rider; Lesli Linka Glatter, the main director of Homeland and Seeking a Friend for the End of the World's Lorene Scafaria. Sources for THR say a decision won't be made anytime soon because Marvel is being very deliberate in its search. They do have plenty of time to make up their mind, though, as Captain Marvel will not be released until March 8th of 2019. Kristian, what do you think of the 3 directors up for Captain Marvel?
I mean, I like the 3 that they're considering. My only thing is that why isn't Joss Whedon's name in there? Why isn't someone who's just as good with strong female characters? Why don't they have? There could be guys in the consideration too. I think that it's the same thing. It doesn't have to, and I think that maybe a woman should be the one to get the job. But I think that just to have 3 women, that's it. That's all we're looking at. Why? I mean, I'm not saying that a woman director shouldn't. Maybe after you get to 3, maybe these 3 are the best for the job. But for me, I was like, okay, well, who else that knows this character? There are certainly some guys that know it also, or maybe So I was just kind of curious why they weren't looking at that. But the names that they do have out there, I think, are very interesting. I think they could all tell a pretty good story with Captain Marvel. But Schnepp, how do you feel?
I love that they're gunning strictly for women because it's a male-dominated field, television,
Right.
movies. So they're making a conscious decision. Look, they could get a ton of different male directors, but that's not the issue. They're like, look, we're going to go strictly for female directors, and we're going to get the best female director to direct Captain Marvel. I personally feel that Lesli Linka Glatter is her name, the director of Homeland. A lot of those episodes of Homeland are so tightly directed, really well shot, put together. So I would feel like more comfortable with her simply because going through that role of doing television is just really crunchy, especially if you're directing. It's a lot of work. You're making multiple movies every season. So just because of as far as the person with the most capability right now, or proven ability, I would go with her.
Yeah, I think you make a great point, John, because she also did episodes of West Wing, Mad Men, Walking Dead, and Ray Donovan, which is currently this is one of my
Ray
favorite
Donovan's
shows.
amazing.
Ray Donovan, yeah, it's very tight, drama-filled shows. I like Niki Caro a lot because I'm a big fan of Whale Rider. I love North Country with Charlize Theron, and she also did McFarland USA, which is this quiet little film that Kevin Costner did about taking these Mexican kids in the 70s and doing the track stuff. It was so great, and so she has an ability to create these smaller films and make them bigger than they are. And I think it's kind of symbolic of Marvel's thing to kind of take a director who has done real successful smaller films and give them a chance to make a bigger film and let that sensibility work like they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. Kristian, you do make a good point with Joss Whedon. Yeah, it could be nice to get him back into the fold and what have you, but I think it's best with something like this. They want to have a female director.
Yeah.
I mean, Patty Jenkins, whatever you want to say about her films, she does good work sometimes with these films, and so it's certainly a possibility for DC and Wonder Woman, but it would be nice to see Joss come back into the fold, but this makes more sense PR-wise and aesthetically.
That's the thing. Look, I think that a woman should be directing. It's nice to all the dopey comments. It was like someone's like, you disappoint me. Good. I don't care.
Christian, don't take it so personally.
He's a chauvinist
because I want a guy on the list.
You
I'm
disappoint
a
me.
chauvinist. Yeah, it's a dopey comment. But what I will tell you is that the person that should be directing this movie is a woman. I think a woman should get it. My point is, Why does it just have to be the list? Because you don't want to take away from the fact that you're eventually going to get a woman, because all those people, all the women on the list qualify for it.
Yeah.
Whoever gets it out of those 3, if it is the 3, should do it, and I think will do a great job doing it. What I'm saying is, I think it would also bring some more gravitas to whoever they do it if you have a bunch of other names on there, because it's like, well, they're all, and this is not you, there's other comments too, like, there are a lot of men that are just dominating the field. Of course there are. It's but there's so many more women that are coming out now that are getting opportunities.
why-
And these women, these women are getting opportunities, absolutely. What I'm saying is, I think that it would add to it if on that list were guys like Joss Whedon or J.J. Abrams and all these other names, and then a woman got it. That's more powerful to me also, because it's like, okay, these are all the names, and they're considered not just against other women, they're considered against their peers who are the J.J. Abrams, who are the Joss Whedon. So it's not just women, it's everything. They're equals all the way around. So it's not like, oh, you're a chauvinist, suck it. Because it's not, because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the comments to where it's just like, because you have one particular opinion on it, right away, you're a chauvinist. Or right away, oh, you don't understand. No, it's a matter of if everyone can be in the same field, because why can't like a Catherine Bigelow and a Joss Whedon, they're equals in the same field. Who's got better movies? Let them all be part of one particular thing. That's my point.
Well, I mean, your point is taken, but I think you shouldn't be listening to the people who are like calling you a chauvinist. I think the reason they don't have any men on that list is because they're not gunning for men. I think that would be a waste of time. If they're really if they're like, look, we want a woman to direct this, we're going to chuck a bunch of male names on there to to just fluff it up.
That's not just fluff, but that's
no,
just
I see
what
what you're saying, but I feel like, look, they're saying straight up, we're not looking for men.
Right.
We're looking for a woman director, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think women get shafted all the time. So I think it's cool when you have a particular property. There's no reason to like level the playing field. I think it's fine with me.
I get your points.
And I think where you want to go is where we want to go as a movie-going audience eventually. We want to balance the scales so that then we can exist in a world where both men and women are up for all these directing jobs, and so it's fair. But for right now, we got to give a little more balance to the situation, like what's happening in Black Panther. They found an African-American director to do that. Right. They want to balance the scales just a little bit more so that we come back close, and then we're even going forward. And yeah, don't listen to people. Anybody who's doing simplistic judgments on one comment is ridiculous. So you waste time with that kind of crap.
All right, what's next?
Okay, according to Deadline, the American Film Institute has canceled Friday's planned screening of The Birth of a Nation, which was to be followed by a Q&A with filmmaker and star Nate Parker. The move comes as distributor Fox Searchlight deals with the potential fallout from an old rape charge against Parker that has now resurfaced. AFI Dean Jan Schutt announced the cancellation in a note to the film school fellows, saying he believes it's essential to discuss the issues together before they screen the film. Rocha, do you think Birth of a Nation can survive this controversy and still be an Oscar contender?
Yeah, I thought this was the one we were going to go nuts about, but apparently not. Here's what I can tell you. This is a very complex case that's disturbing on a lot of levels. If you read the transcripts, if you read of the phone conversations, you read the depositions that were there, you read the closing arguments of the defense attorney, prosecuting attorney, there's a lot here that it will trouble you if you're a defender of women's rights, if you have these issues with rapes. Obviously, we don't treat rape as seriously as we should in this country, especially in campus culture. This is when he was back in Penn State. So this is a very big controversy. Do I think it affected as an Oscar contender? Absolutely. We saw that with Beautiful Mind. We saw that with a number of things. Woody Allen with Blues Jasmine. Like, this stuff does affect it as an Oscar contender. That's the question. That's what I can talk about, right? Do I think they'll survive this controversy? I don't know at this point, but I do think there is a smart move by them to face it head on. It's a ballsy move. It's either going to work or it's going to flame out and fail spectacularly, but they're addressing it head on. And Nate has said, like, I didn't remove it off my Wikipedia page. It's been there since it got put up. So, like, in a way, he's trying to talk around the controversy and say all the right things, but I think a lot of people are poking holes in it and finding a hollow nature to his PR presentation, and I think that may be what comes back and bites them in the ass, because he's trotting out his female kids, which is ironic because he's almost saying, look, I have black friends, I can't be racist, which is interesting for a black guy. It's kind of interesting to see that kind of turned around for that, and see that, because he's saying, look, I have all these women in my life, how could I possibly be a rapist? I've made up for it. Right. But there's a lot of stuff about this, and the fact that his co-writer was the person in the room accused of the double rape, was initially convicted, then it was overturned. So there's a lot here that make you uncomfortable about the situation. But their strategy is to not hide it and to face it head on. And we'll see if it works. I don't know yet if they'll survive, though.
Well said. The one thing, you're such a Star Wars fan, you said Wikipedia.
Wait, you know why? Because I'm just in Wikipedia.
I was going to nail you for saying blues jasmine. It's blue jasmine.
Blue
but
jasmine.
you know
Oh.
what?
Yeah.
Well, someone asked if I was going to get all my facts right, and apparently I'm not.
That's okay. Well, Wikipedia might have some. But I'll tell you though, the thing is, you can see Netflix kind of going at this point because look, Fox Searchlight really. They thought they had the Oscar winner here with this movie, and they're not screening it. They're not doing press at Toronto. It's a thing that and he hasn't been. I mean, as far as he hasn't been convicted of anything, we don't know what's going to happen in the long run. But we're talking about the Oscar chances here too, and the fact that in this movie there is a rape scene. It's going to take away from the second you're watching it. You're gonna in your head, you're going to start thinking about this, regardless of the things that happened.
And it's an instigating moment in the movie.
It is, and when you read the reports, the reports are damning. They're a bit. You read them, it's hard to. You look at these things, you go, you start to form these opinions, but you got to look at it and wait until to see what happens down the line, if they retry this or whatever they're going to do. But as far as this particular movie goes and its Oscar chances, I think that they are. You're right; they're diminished. I don't think it's. I think it's going to be very tough for them to do this. I think it's very. And the thing that I feel the worst about is the people that are involved in this movie. Because I don't know how much Fox Searchlight knew about this going into it, so I'm going to take them off the table. I'm going to take the two guys accused off the table here, and I'm going to talk about everyone else that's involved in this movie, whether it be the actresses, actors, everyone who worked on this film. Because I got a chance to talk to some of the cast at Sundance, the passion. But for this movie to tell this story, to take that name of the propaganda film from the early 1900s and change it, because I said it when we saw the trailer, it was like the Black Braveheart. When you see this, and you see the passion, you see people to change that name of what that Birth of a Nation was, and now what it would be now, and that's going to be marred now because of this, and it shouldn't be, because the story itself of Turner should be told. It should be told in this way. Unfortunately, these events are going to hurt it, and I understand why they're not screening it. I understand all these things. So it's kind of a travesty for the story of what Turner did, and again, everyone else involved.
And Kristian, you got a chance to see it when you were in Sundance?
I did not.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to. It was the talk of the town. I mean, everyone was talking. I spoke to Nate Parker, and I spoke to some of the other people involved in the movie, and it was something I was very excited about. And I've been championing Nate Parker for a very long time as far as an actor and everything.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
I was look, again, I don't know yet what happened, what didn't happen, but it's just they're very disturbing claims.
I would say, from AFI's standpoint, it made sense to pull the film.
But they haven't canceled it. They said
they
they
have to have a
reschedule.
roundtable talk about these subjects, and this is a PR nightmare. In all senses of the word. Because when you hear about Birth of a Nation, it's a transformative film. It's taking something that D.W. Griffith and a lot of racists made back in the day, when there were separate, water fountains for blacks. Everything was different, and we live in a different world now, and we're trying to correct a lot of problems that happen and misjustices that happened back then. And then you have something like this, and then you have something, it's not innocent until proven guilty. They went to trial. There was a trial. The woman who was raped actually killed herself. There's a lot of stuff that's in this that is damning on so many fronts that it kind of mars the entire project to me.
And remember, it's still alleged at this point.
It's alleged.
At this point, I know.
But there's certain things that are alleged and other things that are not alleged.
Yes.
And the writer went to jail for 6 months.
Right, the co-writer,
the co-writer. So,
and it was overturned. But you're right.
It's tough to just say, look, let's just judge it as a movie. The movie itself has a rape scene in it. I haven't seen the movie yet. I plan on seeing the film. But it doesn't. It takes away from the overall project.
But this is what's interesting about it, because if you pull out and look at a bigger perspective, this is an African American artist creating this thing, and what you can say about it, trying to bring up the idea of there's more stories to tell here, African. But then you pull back even farther, and you see that why are we vilifying this guy when Woody Allen has gotten a free pass? Roman Polanski won the Oscar for The Pianist.
Yeah, but he's
wasn't
not
even in the.
But he's not even allowed here in America anymore. He'll go to jail.
But he was allowed to make movies and win an award, and so we're saying, can it hurt this Oscar contention? I don't know, but why people seem to get away with it, but black people are going to. So it's a whole thing. So it's a very complex issue.
Well,
it's not, for lack of a better term, black and white.
It's
There's
also
a lot going on.
an issue of Parker going on college tours and college campuses.
Yeah,
you don't see Polanski or Woody Allen doing these kind of things, and nor would you. And
Woody blows it off.
I don't think you would be able to have Parker at this point go and do a college campus talk on Birth of a Nation without addressing rape issues.
And I think he's got to come out with a more honest interview, the people will read viscerally and connect to and go, okay, I get it.
Well, because
when he hasn't done that
when he
yet.
first mentioned it, and he didn't even mention her name
Yes.
or the rape, he
You're
made
right.
it very surfacey. And
He
that's
made it
not
seem
the-
like he was the victim
Yes.
and he didn't want to relive
He
it,
was
and that's
the victim.
dangerous.
Things
Right.
that happened to
Yeah.
me. It's like,
Yeah.
so what happened to you? Oh, I'm sorry. What about the victim?
Yeah.
Those things are not forgivable in certain ways unless he addresses them.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Okay, something a little less controversial. A new trailer and poster has been revealed exclusively on Collider.com for Adam Wingard's Blair Witch. The third movie in the Blair Witch franchise was originally titled The Woods, a name that was a misdirect for fans who were then surprised when it was revealed as Blair Witch at a screening at Comic-Con back in July. Blair Witch tells the story of a group of college students venturing into the Black Hills Forest in Maryland to uncover the mystery surrounding the disappearance of James's sister, who many believe is connected to the legend of the Blair Witch. It opens in theaters on September 16th. Schnepp, what do you think about the new trailer for Blair Witch?
Well, let me start with saying Adam Wingard's a really fantastic director, from You're Next to The Guest. I mean, the guy's knocking out of the park. I love his stuff on Outcast. I'm not a big fan of these kind of found footage films. I mean, Paranormal Activities, the original Blair Witch. I know a lot of people loved those films, and for myself, I just was not a fan. I didn't find them scary. Seeing these trailers, I definitely love the influences that I've seen, especially in this latest Blair Witch trailer. It has little elements of like some of the Descent, like claustrophobic aspects to it. I feel like, oh my God, are they showing me most of the ending of the film? I feel like, because a lot of it's going to be set up. We're looking for the guy's sister. We're walking around in the woods. A lot of that found footage, kind of, maybe it's cell phone footage. I don't know. Like, nobody has handy cams anymore. They're like, I'll take, we're on Instagram, Blair Witch Instagram footage or whatever. But I'm definitely going to check it out. I want to be scared by these found footage films. Usually they don't scare me. So
I'm going to buy. I think that this. We're not buying it, are we?
No, not yet,
whatever.
not
I'll buy it. I'll buy it anyway.
We're almost there.
I'll buy it anyway. I really look. I didn't know this movie was coming out. I was part of the whole. I was part of the surprise when they did the Comic-Con thing. I think it was really smart that he did that. I agree with you that, and we talked about this yesterday when it was the shtick of the found footage movie. It keeps happening over and over again. But remember, Blair Witch wasn't the first to do it, but it was certainly one of the first to do it, and it is still, I believe, one of the most profitable movies of all time, from the budget to how much money the movie made. And I think that the second one was so piss poor, the Book of Shadows, that to be able to get this director now and able to do this movie, I liked what they did with the footage. Like, even though at the end we're kind of like, oh, she's going to get dragged by the feet there.
Right.
You kind of saw a little bit coming, but there was still something creepy about it going back to the original Blair Witch. I am optimistic about this movie because I did like the simplicity in it, and I think to me that's why it got me on board. And I think that it's been marketed very well so far the way they did it, because if they would have announced just a Blair Witch movie randomly and didn't do it the way that they did with the surprise, I don't know if it would have been as effective. Totally. So I'm on board with this. I'm on board with this trailer.
Yeah, I absolutely love the trailer, and I agree with you, John, about Adam Wingard. I love The Guest. It's a quiet little fantastic 80s homage film. Such great work by everyone involved in it, including the director. And so when I heard he was going to direct this, I was excited about it. Even when it was called The Woods, I was like, oh,
Sure.
because I'm a bit of a horror movie snob in a way that, like, it has to be really good to get me in the theater, because there's so much bad horror that's out there that to me is like, it's got to be really good to get me in. And this trailer sucked me in. The music, the pace of it, what they edited as the found footage got you really scared. And so when that moment happened, you knew she was going to be dragged. The second she stopped and heard that sound, you knew she was going to be dragged.
There's a witch behind her.
Yeah, right. There's something there.
What's nibbling at her feet? Oh, it's just a witch.
Right. But I remember
Twitch
seeing.
Yeah.
The thing is, I remember seeing this back in Tallahassee. I didn't know it was a fake thing. I thought it was a documentary. I remember seeing it before the big thing. Right?
Oh, yeah.
We were in college there at the time, and I went and saw it, and I remember, and I was like, out of my mind scared, because I didn't know it was a fake thing. Like, it was the beginning of found footage stuff. So the fact that Edward Sanchez and Daniel Merrick are involved in this, who did the original, that lets you know that they're at least have a semblance of guiding this thing,
or
to
at
the
least
right
they're getting a
place.
giant fat check, because those guys didn't get a lot of money last time. And I'm glad to see Simon Barrett, Adam's writing partner, who's done so many of the films with him, is also involved in this. I got to give you a little story too. Like, when Blair Witch first came out, I got an advanced VHS copy of Sundance, and I loaded it up into an Avid and cut out the end credits, and it was like, told a friend of mine, I was like, dude, I just got this tape. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I might have to call the police. Can you just watch this? I can't watch it again. And I left him in the room and played it. And about an hour and a half in, when the screaming, like, oh my God, I hear him like, oh my God, what's happening? Stop! Oh my God, what the hell is this? And I was like, I think I pissed myself. I was laughing so much. I know it's a mean thing, but man, you only get those chances once in a lifetime to really screw with your pals.
That is
And I said, dude, it's a movie. After he came running down the stairs, we gotta call the cops.
Right.
Jon Schnepp, messing with friends since 1999.
And that friend's name was JTE. All right.
JMX.
Now it's time to move on to a segment that I jumped the gun with, Buy or Sell. Natasha's going to read out some more stories in the world of movie news. Myself, Rocha, or Schnepp, either going to buy or sell it. What's up first?
Okay, the first trailer has been released for Manchester by the Sea. The film follows Lee Chandler, played by Casey Affleck, who returns to his hometown following the death of his brother, played by Kyle Chandler, and finds himself made the legal guardian of his nephew, played by Lucas Hedges. The film also stars Michelle Williams and is directed by Kenneth Lonergan. It is set to open on November 18th. Christian Buyer saw the first trailer for Manchester by the Sea.
Huge buy, and I think this movie is going to be the new frontrunner for Best Picture. From what I was hearing about this thing at Sundance, also these were the two movies that people were really talking about, was Manchester by the Sea and Birth of a Nation. I think that this movie, from what I'm seeing so far, is I was interested. I love both Kyle Chandler and Casey Affleck has really stepped up his game in the last 5 years. I think that this is a movie that is going to take a lot of people by surprise. I think that more people are going to hear about this movie because I think that the critics, once they see it, their word's going to really get out there because everybody was raving about this thing at Sundance. So I loved what I saw so far. And yeah, I think that this is going to be a big movie for Casey Affleck. So it's a big buy for me. Schnepp?
Yeah, I at first thought his name was Leech Handler. When you said that, I was like, wait a minute, that's a weird name. But whatever his name would be in this film, Lee or whatever, yeah, I totally
Did I
buy
say Lee Chandler?
No, she didn't. I read it. I was like,
did?
No, it's just because his name is Lee Chandler. But you said Lee Chandler. I was like, Lee Chandler. What a weird name. I guess I'm hearing things. Anyway, Leech is my friend, and I buy this trailer that he stars in. I found it to be like it felt like one of those kinds of coming of age films. Also with like, it's definitely one of those. I don't know if I would even say Kramer versus Kramer, but it had this throwback kind of feel to those like 70s, 80s like family dramas, which are amazingly well done, amazingly well written, emotionally impactful, and I miss those films happening in the cinemas. Those really haven't been happening that many times, and I feel like that's the feeling that I got when I saw this trailer. It's definitely like it's not an epic, giant film. It's really a family film. It's a film about like decisions and interacting with each other. So I buy it. I love it.
Yeah, I absolutely buy it too. It's got a lot of vibes of win-win. It's got that kind of vibe of win-win where it's taken over, kind of raising another, like that kind of thing. But also there's a lot of that family aspect of it, plus the Boston nature of it. And you're right, Christian Casey has really been stepping up. Since Gone Baby Gone, he's really grabbed these lead roles and brought a lot of power to them. And I would argue that he's a better actor than his brother, absolutely. And if you go back and watch Good Will Hunting, he actually stands out in all the scenes that he's in because there's an authenticity to what he's doing that really radiates powerfully. And so I've never found him unbelievable in anything he's ever done. I'm just happy that he's kind of growing, like DiCaprio kind of had to do, growing into his manhood as a wayfish kind of younger guy to grow into his power as a man and take these roles and see what he can do with them. It's very powerful. And Michelle Williams really shines in films like this.
Yeah,
she's so powerful. She really does great stuff. Just that scene in the trailer
She
where
picks the right roles.
she really does.
Yeah.
When she's saying to him, I said a lot of terrible things. He's like, no. And she goes, no, there's something there. You still care about me. And he's done it. It's such a powerful movie. Like, God, that's even just a sample.
I know.
Right? And then the kid who I've been a fan of since like Moonrise Kingdom, and he's been in Wes Anderson films, and he was in that terrible show, The Slap. He's got good stuff as an actor. So you can see that there are going to be some really powerful moments. And it's a good family drama that'll get you. And plus, it's being in the North, and it looks like wintertime.
Totally.
It's hitting all the right notes for me personally that I will enjoy my time in the theater with this. Plus Lonergan, who's a great writer.
All right, Natasha. What's up?
Okay, so for this next story on Transformers: The Last Night, we have to issue a spoiler alert as it deals with plot details that have just been revealed, so you guys have been warned. According to Joe Blow, the story of the fifth Transformer will find Optimus Prime returning to Cybertron, where he finds the planet in shambles. In order to fix it all, he'll need an artifact that he can only find back on Earth. That artifact is revealed to be an item given to Merlin that gave him his powers during Arthurian times. The ancient time period seems to have been confirmed, with BBC snagging some new set photos that show actors wearing medieval garb and riding horses. Transformers: The Last Night hits theaters on June 23rd, 2017. Rocha, as the only person in the studio who likes the Transformers, do you buy or sell their connection to medieval times and the Arthurian legend?
Listen, I need to borrow money from everybody here because I need to buy it even more than I'm buying it by myself. Like, I need to buy it for everybody here. I couldn't be more excited. It hits all the notes for me. Arthurian legend, Merlin stuff. I am such a massive fan of that stuff. Since John Borman's Excalibur, I've been a massive fan of Arthur and the Round Table and the Knights. To me, this is so fantastic. Hits all the right notes. If you're gonna go do a fifth movie, you might as well go crazy. How can you top the fourth one? I don't know how you could possibly top the fourth one. Let's go back in time, or let's go find an artifact that has to do with Merlin. So for me, I couldn't buy this any more than I do, and it's gonna be interesting to see the character designs and how they make this work. And don't be surprised that this isn't the best installment of all 5 of them. So to me,
Relax for a second there.
that's not hard. That's not hard right now. I'm
Yeah.
telling you right
Make
now.
a coherent script.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest thing you could possibly
Right.
do, other than wake up and make eggs in the morning, is make a better
That's
Transformers
enough out of
movie.
both of you. Damn it, this is a good franchise. No, I just really enjoy this idea, and I hope it works because I want to love this this concept so much.
So
I
you're
totally
buying the
buy it.
idea of Merlin in medieval times in a Transformers.
Yeah, all this stuff. Yeah, I'm actually buying it.
And I hate to sound like a broken record, though, too. The only reason I'm going to sell it is because I wish that it was Stephen DeKnight that was directing this instead of Rim. Because if you told me Stephen DeKnight was directing this with this whole Merlin thing, I'm like, oh, that could be interesting. I'm just picturing some big blonde with big boobs in a knight outfit come out, and it's just like it's slow motion, and they're playing like Iron Maiden, and it feels like a Bill and Ted movie more than it feels, because that's what Michael Bay does.
Dude, what you just said, I kind of want to see that. You said Iron Maiden, and
it's
an
like
actual real
but in a
Maiden,
Transformers movie
with
it's
some
a-
robots. That sounds kind of cool.
It won't be
I don't
Iron
know.
Maiden. It'll be like a third
Third
eye
Eye
blind or Fall
Kids
Boy,
or
whatever
yeah.
it might be.
All
It
right,
just
you ruined the image. Yeah, forget it.
I like the idea of Cybertron. I wish it would stay on Cybertron. I wish that
same here.
I'm still wishing that the Transformers movie eventually would just say, you know what, screw the dumb humans. Let's just do a movie about Transformers.
I'm buying your movie.
That's what I've been wanting. I've been wanting to see that since the beginning. It's like a war on Cybertron with the Transformers. I'm in.
Sorry,
That's
they don't
all.
have the budget for that. It's literally the opening sequence. He'll be on
But it
Cybertron.
did-
Yeah,
It'll be 5
how can
minutes
they
on
not have a
Cybertron.
budget?
And this, I know that this is going to come up, and someone will say in the comments, or people have said this before. I've always said that if you just did a movie about the Transformers, like that's too expensive.
Chauvinist.
But I'm a robot chauvinist. But the thing is, it's like those movies are like
Robotist.
$2.25. How long they are?
Yeah.
Make the movie an hour and 40 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes, and you can do.
How are they going to get the Bud Light commercials in
That's
medieval
true.
times?
That's right.
Like Merlin's like, I summon the Coors Light. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
Mark Ellis shows up. Like,
That's right.
Weird Squire outfit.
Hey, let's go to the Olive Garden.
Hey.
I love this.
What do you think?
Conja
Buying
Club.
this thing?
You know what? Strangely enough, I am buying this because we
Yes,
haven't been. No, I'm only buying it because I love the Arthurian times.
Yeah.
I love Merlin,
think
and now when
Bay
when
can pull it off?
hell no. I'm buying this concept,
Right.
and I'll probably buy the trailer because they always
Right.
make the. Remember the Extinction
Oh,
trailer
yeah.
was cool, dude. There's dinosaurs and all this. Boo! It's such a garbage film, but like the trailer is so amazing. You're like, look at that! He's riding a dinosaur. Whatever.
You've been watching it sober. You've been doing it wrong, man.
No, we're all going to, dude, you're coming with us. We're all going to
really?
go see this drunk.
I'm going to be
And then
also.
with his boob Rocha in the
It's
middle.
going to
of
be
it.
so
More than
much
just
fun.
drunk.
I
It's
will
going
tell
to
you
be
that
fun.
David Transu wins the thing. He said Harloff is an anti-humanist.
Let me just say, Cybertron, you got King Arthur, you got Merlin. I'm hoping they have Morgana Le Fay and she
Yeah.
teams up
Yeah.
with the evil Transformers.
Right.
So that would be cool.
All right, what's next?
That's not going to happen.
Okay, the first trailer has been released for the psychological thriller The Disappointments Room starring Kate Beckinsale. The movie is directed by Disturbia director DJ Caruso and tells the story of a woman who moves into a new house with her 5-year-old son who discovers a secret room with the attic where unimaginable horrors are accidentally unlocked. It opens in theaters on September 9th. Schnepp, buy or sell the first trailer for The Disappointments Room.
Ooh, I sell this trailer. The Disappointments trailer is what Wendy called it. Look, this trailer sucks. I can't say anything other than that if she opened that magic armoire and a fucking Liam Neeson popped out.
There we go.
I'm just saying, it's like
There we
this
go.
trailer is really disappointing. How many skeleton keys can I get to not watch this again?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. This is garbage. It just looks so generic. It hits you with so many cliches right in the beginning.
Yeah, you were
Door
listing them off.
slamming.
Yeah.
It's a new beginning.
creepy
And then
kids
it goes,
waiting,
creepy
laughing.
kid running up the stairs, and then the Narnia closet comes out, and it's a matter that would have been good to me if they would have done what Blair Witch did and just a way you've never seen Narnia before, and it's just
Right.
Aslan comes out, starts chewing up ghosts and spitting them out, and
That would've been
crapping
amazing.
out. Yeah, that would have been good. But this is
I'd
like
buy your idea again.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Generic crap. Why don't we just make movies together?
Like we
Quick?
I think you should,
We should.
honestly.
Hey, I got a good one in the top
Oh, I
of
like
the
that Narnia horror movie thing. Hey, let's go pitch that.
Hey, Petey Peppers, I was thinking, you got the lion, you got the
Hey.
scales. Hey, Beckinsale, good looking
Get
girl.
a
What's she gonna do?
zombie lion. Maybe have Liam Neeson with a cell phone. I
You
got a particular
dick
set of
coming
skills.
out of your neck.
I know I can't saw it off. Let's get the lion. They chew on that dick.
Rocha, buy or sell this thing.
What am I going to say after that? I sell the trailer, absolutely. I agree with you guys. There's too much about it that's evocative of way other crappier films. And the whole idea that it was bumped off its release schedule when it was going into bankruptcy, Relativity Media, that tells you that they didn't have a lot of faith in it, even when they were going bankrupt, to possibly save them. But also, the second thing is this. Beckinsale is a good actress. If you saw Love and Friendship, this is one of these quiet films this year that hardly anybody saw. Fantastically funny comedy of manners, and she's so good.
She was amazing in that. That I
she
think was
is.
her best role I've ever seen her in.
She's
I
a
love
good
that film.
actress.
It was subtle. It was incredibly
Yep.
funny.
Yeah, and she's powerful in that film.
Yeah.
And so you give her something like this is kind of a shame because this is the kind of stuff that she's being offered and can only get because she got to pay bills too. She got
Right.
houses and stuff like that. So it's unfortunate because she deserves better fare than this.
I'm glad you brought that movie up.
Yeah, it's a good movie. And so like these kinds, it's a cool movie. And so these kinds of things, it's unfortunate because it looks terrible. And there's a husband and the husband's doing the same typical stuff that he does. And, it just looks like it's going to be one of these like psychological things that kind of falls flat halfway through the film.
Yeah. All right. Now it's time to go on over to our own Wendy Lee, who's been monitoring the chat room. I'm sure that's been fun today. Wendy, what do you got? What are they saying?
They're saying so much, so we're going to talk about Captain Marvel. We're just going to jump right into the comments here. Elia Fernandez says, I look forward to a time where a woman can direct any movie, not just women characters. Sui Gore says, regardless of which director is chosen, she has to know her Captain Marvel material. That's my point of concern for this movie. And Chris Plattis says, lack of female director is staggering, but it should be addressed, and I couldn't agree more. And then moving on to the new trailer and poster for Blair Witch. Looks like a lot of the chat is not into the found footage style films, and they are saying it's been done to death, and that they may be skipping seeing this in theaters. I'm also seeing some comments saying that the new trailer showed too much. Lily Musai says, I have to give them props. The fact that they were able to keep the Blair Witch twist a secret was brilliant.
All right. Well, there you go. Thank you guys for chiming in. Thank you to Wendy. Okay, so let's get to opening this week, brought to you by our friends over at AMC. Natasha, what's coming out this week that we might see?
Okay, well, Don't Breathe is coming out this week. Rocky, played by Jane, Levy, Alex, and Money, are three Detroit thieves who get their kicks by breaking into the houses of wealthy people. Money gets word about a blind veteran who won a major cash settlement following the death of his only child. Figuring he's an easy target, the trio invades the man's secluded home in an abandoned neighborhood. Finding themselves trapped inside, the young intruders must fight for their lives after making a shocking discovery about their supposedly helpless victim. And we also have Hands of Stone coming out at age 72. Legendary trainer Ray Arcel, played by Robert De Niro, comes out of retirement to coach world-class Panamanian boxer Robert Duran, played by Edgar Ramirez. Arcel becomes a mentor to the ferocious fighter, convincing him that winning ultimately comes out of strategy. After scoring knockout after knockout, Duran prepares for the bout against Sugar Ray Leonard, the undefeated lightweight champion. 5 months later, on November 25th, 1980, the two titans meet for an infamous rematch that makes boxing history.
No mas.
Just a quick thing. Roberto Duran is the guy's name. Roberto Duran.
Roberto Duran.
He said Robert Duran,
Oh,
so I just
okay.
want to make
Oh.
sure.
Roberto.
Roberto.
Roberto
Yeah.
Duran was one of my favorite
Yeah.
fighters, and so I'm a big boxing fan. So when they announced this movie and the fact that De Niro was in it, I was very excited. I want to see this movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to see it this weekend. I was bummed that I missed the screenings that were last week, but that being said, Don't Breathe is the one that I'm really looking forward to because Stephen Lang and Fede Alvarez, by the way, who I really liked the remake for Evil Dead. I know a lot of people because it's kind of you're walking on sacred ground there with the Raimi versions, but I thought for what he did, I thought it worked. I thought it was effective, and hearing Stephen Lang and Fede Alvarez talk about it, and if you can watch that interview, by the way, with Perry, she interviewed the two of them and she was raving about it. Campy is raving about that movie. Riley's raving about this movie. Everyone loves this thing. I cannot wait to see it, from not only the story, but from the way they're talking about how this movie was shot, the way it's a refreshing movie, and people are already putting it on their top like 3 of the year from everyone that I spoke to. So I'm excited to see it, but I'll probably see both of these. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely see both of these. I think anything where kids getting their comeuppance for doing a bunch of crap to a veteran, I'm happily on board with this, especially if you put Stephen Lang in there, who I've been a fan of his since Band of the Hand, Michael Mann's Band of the Hand from the 80s. I'm such a massive fan of Stephen Lang. And you're right about Alvarez. Like the stuff he did with that Evil Dead was so interesting. And Jane Levy was it Jane Levy, the girl from Suburgatory? She was fantastic in that film. And so it's so good to see him have something like this. And this looks like one of those, like, and even the poster itself gives you the vibe of what this film is going to be. And yeah, like Kristian, I was a massive Roberto Duran fan to the 80s when he was a middleweight champion, when he fought, Sugar Ray. That was a whole deal.
That's a story you got to tell.
Of course, the No Mas story, you got to tell that. And if you've ever seen a 30 for 30 documentary on him, you've got to do that as well. It's such fantastic stuff to see how deep and what he went through to get to where he was, and what an interesting, peculiar character. And to see Edgar Ramirez kind of coming off that Point Break remake, putting it in his rearview mirror, because he's a good actor. Yeah. Getting him a chance to sink his teeth into a role like this would be fun to watch.
I've heard Usher is incredible as Sugar Ray.
Right.
So, I mean, I've heard a lot of stuff about Hands of Stone. I actually got a chance to see Don't Breathe last night.
Oh, right.
And it's fantastic. I think it's one of the best horror films to come out this entire year.
Wow.
I haven't seen one to beat it yet. Literally jumped out of my chair like 4 times. I was yelling at the screen with a full audience of other people like, don't know! Like, there's moments in this where you can't help but, like, and I hate talking during the movies and stuff, but this is really a film where you feel kind of interactive with it, and you and the entire audience is experiencing this kind of sheer terror. Cable rocks in this movie. Stephen Lang, you're great. And, I mean, I don't want to give anything away. I think if you've seen part of the trailer, it gives a little bit too much away, so just go and seeing this movie literally blind, and you will enjoy it, because it's a really tight, tough film. It's incredibly well directed by Fede. I like to call it Evil Cabin. I don't call it Evil Dead, because I'm an original old school trilogy fan. Because the Evil Dead remake did not have any comedic elements to it. It felt like it was lacking what the Evil Dead franchise itself has. It's an incredible film. It's a great horror film. It's really gory. It's really gross. It's great. It's just not Evil Dead to me. But I still love the film. I just don't like that it's called Evil Dead.
So as a horror fan, great movie. As a Evil Dead purist, just
as an Evil Dead purist, I wish they called it. So I refer to it as Evil Cabin. But this guy is an incredible director, and he just cemented it with this film. I highly recommend running to see this on Friday.
All right, so that's everything for opening this week. Once again, brought to you by our friends over at AMC. Well, now we want to hear from you guys, and we do that through Mailbag. You guys submit some stuff to collidervideo@gmail.com. We go through it. And what do we get today, Natasha?
Okay, today we have Will Jones writing, "Hey Collider, been watching since the AMC days and love everything you do. My question is, do you ever feel like your life is paralleling a scene from a movie or a movie in general? For example, I thought I was living Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind because my life isn't very interesting, and I dated a girl for a while who would always dye her hair different colors. Once we broke up, I wanted to erase that B from my mind like the movie, but I couldn't, obviously. So have you ever felt like your life has paralleled or been strangely similar to a movie? P.S. Mukuga rocked it in the Schmodown. Poor JBX, or whatever his name is."
Poor JBX. Listen, I've been doing reviews with Ellis since 2008, so Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. I would say Metal Storm, The Destruction of Jared Sin.
Yes!
Most likely parallels my life. Perhaps that, or Space Hunters, or Battle Beyond the Stars, with a little bit of Krull in there.
What you got?
I'm stupidly grandiose. So for me and my family, The Godfather was always our thing, because I'm kind of Sonny Corleone at times. I'm a bit, argumentative, or get too like wrapped up in stuff. I would totally get killed at the toll booth. Absolutely, trying to go kill the guy who tried to beat up my sister. My brother is exactly like Michael. He's a quiet guy, incredibly intelligent, knows how to do what he needs to do. And my sister kind of had a lot of Talia Shire stuff through the trilogy, and so it's just that kind of stuff. So for us, it's always been that film that's been kind of reminiscent. And my dad was very much like Vito. So you have that kind of thing going through. But Will, let me say something to you. Go see a therapist and get through this stuff. You shouldn't still be calling her a name or whatever. Like, you got to get over things to move on so that you can be okay for the next one that comes down the pike. We all have these experiences. You can get over it, man.
Yeah, and I think the Eternal Sunshine is the easy way out.
Yeah, exactly.
Humans have to internalize and go through certain events. It's called The Journey. It's Joseph Campbell. Check it out. Become a man.
Well done. Nice Campbell reference. And thanks for mentioning the poor JTX. He'll get a chance to in the team competitions. There's a couple of things I want to tell you guys about the Schmodown. We're going to go 2 times a week. We're going to have team matches that will debut in Tuesdays, which will be in the second week of September, I believe, and the Ultimate Schmodown tournament that begins next week. You got Mark Riley that is going to be going up against Elliot Dewberry. This is the week after the championship, and then the week after that, I will be facing this knucklehead right here, the self-imposed outlaw, or whatever he calls himself. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Outlaw,
Yeah.
What do you think, buddy? How do you think that match is going to go between you and I?
It's been awesome being your friend for
Yes.
as long as we have. And
It's
it's been
over
nice
now.
to be back in your world again after like years of us not talking or kind of seeing each
actually
other
heard
every once in a
Kristian
while.
created you. That's what
Oh,
That's,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Do you
true,
like
that's
him
true.
saying that crap?
Yeah, I like
Because
that.
I was just just a lump of clay on the ground or something. Yeah,
clay.
no one ever created me.
Right.
Get out of here, Kristian. What he did was he found a star
Yeah.
in the making.
Okay.
He pushed
Like a
some,
diamond
He blew,
hitting
yeah,
that shit,
diamond.
yeah.
He blew some dirt off and all of a sudden,
AKA,
boom.
Can I have a job? Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I'm making
so much
money.
match is going to be so flavory. I'm definitely
Please.
going to. I have to see this.
Well,
match,
this is his
so.
thing.
I'm
This
not
is his
Scott
thing.
Mintz.
This is his thing.
I'm not Scott
Yeah,
Mintz.
you're not Scott Mintz. You're not on the 20th floor
There
making
they
6
are.
figures.
I'm
for
talking
views
about
on Access
I'm talking
Hollywood.
about
You know what I'm saying? You're
You're
not.
not gonna get it.
Look at there's Rocha. There's Harloff. There they are.
You know I'm in your
They're
head.
going to fight.
I'm in your head, and I got a special thing for you.
What do
Trust
you
me.
got?
I've been training.
What do you got?
I've been training.
Training.
You'll see on the day of the show
You got gas?
what I got for you. You'll see. Because I know you, dude.
Look,
Look,
she's still laughing at
what?
you. She banned you last time.
Te quiero preguntar una cosa.
¿Qué?
Quiero que entres conmigo para
They're
este.
speaking in secret languages.
¿De veras?
Sí, sí. ¿Quieres entrar conmigo?
I don't know what.
Pero tienes que vestirte bonita, tienes que vestirte con algo.
Ok,
¿Sí?
claro.
Yo
Okay.
soy escuelo.
Oh, that's not
Oh.
racist. That's not
Oh, yeah.
racist at all.
Yo soy escuelo escala.
All right, before this goes off the rails, let's now. That's going to happen really soon. Make sure
You're
you're
going
watching
down.
on Fridays. Watch your mouth. All right, let's get to live Twitter questions. We'll take 2, and then we'll get the hell out of here before Rocha and I choke each other.
Okay, we have so much fighting energy going on.
Yeah.
So David Kogel asks, what is a movie that you love but your fellow panelists hate? Fight it out, guys.
Oh man,
Christian loves Predator.
you really hate Predator? You hate it?
No, I don't hate it. Of
You
course,
just have no taste.
I don't hate it. It's a
What?
good film.
Predator is not a B movie.
It's a B movie.
It's a stupid comment.
It's not a stupid comment.
It's a stupid
I
comment.
can back it
to
up.
say you don't like it, I understand.
Hey,
You-
you guys,
you can
this
back-
was what was going on early before the show actually even started. These 2 knuckleheads were going off about, look, Jackie Brown is not a B movie. It is. It's a blaxploitation film. It's the things that you guys miss. We should do a pre-show. I swear to God.
Yeah. Anyway.
So what's the question? Because we got lost in this.
Yeah, I know. The
The
question.
question was, what is a movie that you love but your fellow panelists
Yeah.
hate?
Hudson Hawk. I absolutely
You
love
love
Hudson
it.
Hawk. I
don't
love that
hate
stupid
movie,
little. Oh, really?
though. Yeah, I don't hate
Oh
it. It's
wait,
not good.
Transformers.
Oh yeah. There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna say Blade Runner, but I know you love it.
I love Blade Runner.
You don't
Blade
like
Runner,
it.
I need to revisit. But I
What?
remember as a kid, I remember it's
Ellis still hasn't seen it.
Ellis hasn't seen
Yeah, I
it.
know.
I remember liking it, so it's not. It's.
I will
it's
have a
just
screening at
yeah.
my house for everyone if you want.
All right. Well, all right. What's next?
My place.
Okay. MK Songbird asks, what are your thoughts on use of digital beauty work done in post to alter an actor's physical appearance?
I mean, I assume like what you hate to be referred as the Benjamin Button technology. They're perfecting it now. It's starting to. Initially, when I saw it in Civil War, I didn't like it, but then I realized because it's part of that kind of digital scene that then I actually thought it actually worked a lot better. But the Michael Douglas stuff I thought worked pretty well, and we're young into this.
Totally.
I actually enjoy the fact that they're going to do it. I happen to think that within 10 to 15 years from now, it was the best interview I ever had in my life was when I got to sit down with Andy Serkis, and I've talked to him a couple times, but this particular time, and I asked him when it came to like performance capture. They're not there yet, but eventually, would they be able to do where they can just recreate humans? You wouldn't even know it, to where it's like if somebody wanted to actually become John McClane and and just look like a young Bruce Willis, could it happen? Eventually, I think that is going to happen. So this is technology I think is working, and they're starting, and people are the guinea pigs. I like what they're doing with it so far. It's the next evolution. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, The Irishman is the film to keep your eyes on because that's the one where they're going to use this face replacement technology. I refuse to call it the other thing. Where they, they're going to make Robert De Niro young again, and you will not be able to know why, because we have it in the hands of Martin Scorsese, an amazing director who will not let that film be released unless it's perfect. And that's the kind of thing you have to have a lensman and a person and a director who's like in charge of it. And using the technology with creative people is the most important thing. You can't just like, hey, let's have John Wayne and Marilyn Monroe in this movie together. And it's like, we'll get that, I'm sure. We'll get a bunch of like kind of crappy hodgepodge things with using branded licensed people from the estates of dead people. We'll see that happening. That I'm sure will happen. But I'm more interested in this, youthifying actors who are older now to be able to have these kinds of scenes that happen over decades of time. So The Irishman is the one that's going to really prove it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it as long as we're perfecting it. We're getting it better and better. And like we saw, what was it in that film that was the video game film that was supposedly as close to live face?
Oh, Tron?
No. That video game film that came out a few years ago with
Final
Alec Baldwin. Final Fantasy was trying. That was kind of like they were opening the possibilities of creating that kind of thing.
Bad.
And but that's what I say. That was like the beginning.
Sure,
like we see that nascent technology. And you see that kind of stuff. So to me, it's getting better and better. It's getting stronger and stronger. I liked it in Civil War. We'll see how far they can go with it to perfect it. And I think you're right. And John, what you were talking about, like this idea of bringing back the old stars. I mean, they did that with those commercial campaigns back in the 90s or early 2000s.
Dancing with a Hoover.
Yeah. John Wayne, Marilyn Monroe, all the kind of weird stuff. And then so you see how far they're going to go with this, even now with the 3D technology, like with Tupac doing that set or whatever. Like we don't want to let go of our stars, our icon. And so I think that's the motivating factor.
All right, well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank the panel. First, let's start with Miss Wendy Lee, who's been monitoring you guys in the chat room. Wendy, where can they find you?
On Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Wendy Lee Zaney.
Big Jon Schnepp, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram, just at Jon Schnepp. And this weekend, I'll be at the Palm Springs Comic-Con. Get your tickets. I got a booth. I'm showing The Death of Superman Lives. What happened? Let's get sweaty in Palm Springs.
The Outlaw, John Rocha, where can they find you?
Hey, guys, you can always find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. See all the shows I'm hosting or co-hosting and get to be a guest on like this show. And please, Wednesdays at 5 p.m. now, I think, the Top 10 show here on Collider. We just did the Top 10 B-action movies in honor of Mechanic Resurrection or whatever it's called. That sequel that's... and so, but we did it. We had a great time. A prayer for the Roller Boys gets in there. I don't know how, but there's so much that we talked about, and of course the Predator controversy. So please watch it and have a good time with that, and of course watch the Ultimate Schmodown where I destroy Harloff.
False. Natasha Martinez, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NatashaLexis_.
Tatooine. Guys, make sure that you guys check me out at Kristian Harloff, Twitter and Instagram, and on Jedi Council. Today it's myself, Mark Ellis, Tiffany Smith returns, and Mark Yodi Riley, all together talking Star Wars. And Mr. Sunday Movies will be doing the address of the council today, so make sure you check that out. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.